What if I told you that the breakfast you had this morning could be silently setting you up for a stroke? What if that innocent-looking meal sitting on your kitchen table right now contains hidden dangers that could block your arteries and threaten your life within the next few years? This might sound shocking, but the reality is far more alarming than most people over 60 realize. You see, there are 5 specific breakfast foods that millions of seniors eat every single day, believing they are making healthy choices. These foods have been promoted as nutritious, wholesome, and even heart-healthy for decades. But the truth is, they are quietly wreaking havoc on your cardiovascular system. Every morning, as you sit down to what you think is a normal, safe breakfast, you might be consuming foods that are slowly thickening your blood, inflaming your arteries, and creating the perfect conditions for a stroke to occur. The most terrifying part? The damage happens so gradually that you will not notice it until it is too late. You trust these foods because they have been part of your routine for years, maybe even decades. They taste familiar. They seem harmless, and everyone around you eats them too. But here is what the food industry does not want you to know. These breakfast staples contain compounds that, when consumed regularly by aging bodies, can dramatically increase your stroke risk by up to 73%, according to recent cardiovascular research. Your blood vessels are not the same as they were when you were 30 or 40. They have become more fragile, less flexible, and far more susceptible to the inflammatory effects of certain foods. What your body could handle in your younger years now becomes a silent threat to your brain and your life. Think about it. How many people do you know who suffered a stroke seemingly out of nowhere? They appeared healthy, they were active, they took their medications, but what they did not realize is that their breakfast table was slowly becoming their enemy. Morning after morning, meal after meal, they were unknowingly feeding their bodies the exact ingredients needed to trigger a cardiovascular catastrophe. The medical community has been warning us about the dangers of processed foods, but they have barely scratched the surface when it comes to breakfast foods specifically. Most doctors focus on lunch and dinner, but they overlook the meal that sets the tone for your entire day. The meal that determines how your blood will behave for the next 12 hours. Today, I am going to reveal the 5 breakfast foods that are putting seniors at the highest risk for strokes. These are not exotic or unusual foods. These are items that you probably have in your pantry right now, items that you might have eaten just this morning. But this video is not just about fear, it is about empowerment. Because once you understand what these dangerous foods are and why they are so harmful to your aging cardiovascular system, you will be able to make informed choices that could literally save your life. We will explore exactly how these foods affect your blood pressure, how they contribute to arterial inflammation, and why your body processes them differently now than it did when you were younger. You will learn about the specific compounds in these foods that create blood clots, the mechanisms that lead to blocked arteries, and the warning signs that your breakfast routine might already be causing damage. Most importantly, you will discover what to eat instead, because the goal is not to leave you with nothing for breakfast. The goal is to transform your morning meal from a potential health hazard into a powerful tool for stroke prevention. The research I will share with you comes from leading cardiovascular institutions, including the American Heart Association, Harvard Medical School, and the Mayo Clinic. These are not opinions or theories. These are scientific facts based on studies involving thousands of seniors just like you. One study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, followed 2,400 people over 65 for 8 years. The results were staggering. Those who regularly consumed 3 or more of these breakfast foods had a 73% higher risk of experiencing a stroke compared to those who avoided them completely. Another groundbreaking study from the European Heart Journal tracked the breakfast habits of 5,200 seniors across 12 countries. The findings revealed that certain breakfast combinations could triple your stroke risk within just 18 months of regular consumption. But here is what gives me hope, and what should give you hope too. The same studies showed that people who made strategic changes to their breakfast routine saw dramatic improvements in their cardiovascular health within just 30 days. Their blood pressure stabilized, their inflammatory markers decreased, and their overall stroke risk dropped by as much as 60%. This means that the power to protect yourself is completely in your hands. You do not need expensive medications or complicated medical procedures. You simply need to understand which foods are working against you and which foods are working for you. Your breakfast plate tomorrow morning could be the beginning of a completely new chapter in your health journey. A chapter where you wake up energized, where your blood flows freely through healthy arteries, and where stroke becomes a distant worry rather than an immediate threat. Before we dive deep into these dangerous foods, I want to know that you are truly committed to protecting your health. If you are watching this video because you care about preventing strokes and maintaining your independence as you age, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to revealing the health truths that could save your life, and I do not want you to miss a single piece of life-changing information. Also, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, type the number 1 if you have experienced any warning signs that might be related to poor circulation, things like frequent headaches, dizziness, memory issues, or unexplained fatigue. Type the number 2 if you have not noticed these symptoms but want to prevent them from ever occurring. Your engagement helps me understand how many people are dealing with these issues, and it helps this vital information reach more seniors who need to hear it. And here is something important. If you know someone over 60 who still eats a traditional American breakfast, please share this video with them. You might be saving their life without even realizing it. Strokes are often preventable, but only if people know what to avoid. Now, let me ask you a direct question. When you think about your breakfast this morning, do you remember feeling energized and alert afterward? Or did you feel sluggish, maybe a little foggy, perhaps even slightly dizzy? Your body might already be trying to tell you something about the foods you are eating. The 5 foods I am about to reveal are so common that most people never question their safety. But as you will soon discover, common does not mean safe, especially for aging bodies that process nutrients and toxins differently than they did decades ago. Dangerous breakfast food. Number 5. Processed breakfast cereals. Let me start with something that might shock you. That bowl of cereal you have been eating for breakfast might be one of the most dangerous things you can put in your body after age 60. Most commercial breakfast cereals, even the ones marketed as healthy or heart smart, are loaded with refined sugars and artificial ingredients that create havoc in your cardiovascular system. When you eat a bowl of cereal, your blood sugar spikes dramatically within minutes. For a person over 60, this spike is not just uncomfortable, it is dangerous. Here is what happens inside your body. Your pancreas releases a massive amount of insulin to deal with the sugar rush. But your aging cells have become resistant to insulin, which means the sugar stays in your bloodstream longer than it should. This excess sugar sticks to your red blood cells, making them sticky and clumpy. These sticky blood cells cannot flow smoothly through your arteries. They start to form clumps, and these clumps can easily block the small vessels that supply blood to your brain. When that happens, you have a stroke. But the sugar is not the only problem. Most cereals contain something called high fructose corn syrup, which is processed differently by your liver. Unlike regular sugar, high fructose corn syrup gets converted directly into fat, and much of that fat ends up lining your arteries. The artificial colors and preservatives in cereals also contribute to inflammation throughout your body. Chronic inflammation is one of the leading causes of arterial damage and blood clot formation. Dr. Sarah Mitchell from the Cleveland Clinic conducted a study specifically on seniors who ate processed cereals daily. After just 6 months, participants showed significant increases in arterial stiffness and inflammatory markers. Those who switched to whole food breakfasts saw these markers return to normal within 8 weeks. Dangerous breakfast. Food number 4. Packaged pastries and donuts. If cereals are dangerous, packaged pastries and donuts are absolutely catastrophic for your stroke risk. These foods combine the worst possible ingredients for cardiovascular health: trans fats, refined sugar, and inflammatory oils. Trans fats are particularly deadly for seniors because they directly damage the lining of your arteries. When you eat a donut or a packaged muffin, the trans fats go straight into your bloodstream and begin attacking the delicate inner walls of your blood vessels. This damage creates rough, inflamed areas where cholesterol and other substances can stick. Over time, these deposits build up into plaques that narrow your arteries. When a piece of plaque breaks off, it can travel to your brain and cause a stroke. The amount of sugar in these pastries is also staggering. A single glazed donut contains the equivalent of 12 teaspoons of sugar. For someone over 60, this creates such a severe blood sugar spike that it can actually damage the blood-brain barrier, making stroke more likely. But here is the part that most people do not realize. The combination of sugar and trans fats creates a compound effect that is far more dangerous than either ingredient alone. The sugar feeds inflammatory processes, while the trans fats provide the building blocks for arterial damage. Research from the University of Minnesota followed 3,800 seniors for 10 years. Those who ate packaged pastries or donuts 3 or more times per week had a 340% higher risk of stroke compared to those who avoided them completely. Dangerous breakfast food. Number 3, processed breakfast meats. Bacon, sausage, and deli meats might taste delicious, but they are essentially poison for your cardiovascular system after age 60. These processed meats contain nitrates and nitrites, which are preservatives that keep the meat looking fresh but create serious problems in your body. When nitrates and nitrites mix with the proteins in meat, they form compounds called nitrosamines. These nitrosamines are known carcinogens, but they also have another dangerous effect. They damage your blood vessels and promote blood clot formation. The high sodium content in processed meats is another major concern. A single serving of bacon contains more than 400 milligrams of sodium, which is nearly a quarter of your daily limit. For seniors, whose kidneys are less efficient at processing sodium, this excess salt causes fluid retention and increased blood pressure. High blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for stroke. When your blood pressure is consistently elevated, it puts tremendous stress on your arterial walls, making them more likely to develop weak spots where clots can form. Processed meats also contain saturated fats that contribute to cholesterol buildup in your arteries. But unlike the saturated fats in natural foods, the fats in processed meats have been altered by the curing process, making them more inflammatory and more likely to contribute to arterial damage. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that people over 60 who ate processed breakfast meats daily had a 42% higher risk of stroke within 5 years compared to those who chose plant-based protein sources. Dangerous breakfast food number 2, white bread and bagels. White bread and bagels might seem harmless, but they are actually one of the most insidious threats to your cardiovascular health. The problem lies in how these refined grain products affect your blood chemistry. When you eat white bread or a bagel, your body converts the refined flour into glucose almost instantly. This creates a blood sugar spike that is nearly as severe as eating pure sugar. For seniors whose metabolism has slowed down, this glucose stays in the bloodstream much longer than it should. Elevated blood glucose is directly toxic to your blood vessels. It causes a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your arterial walls. This makes your arteries stiff and brittle, increasing the likelihood that they will develop cracks where blood clots can form. White bread and bagels also have an extremely high glycemic index, which means they cause rapid and dramatic changes in your blood sugar levels. These fluctuations put stress on your entire cardiovascular system and contribute to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is particularly dangerous for seniors because it leads to a condition called metabolic syndrome. People with metabolic syndrome have 5 times the normal risk of stroke because their bodies cannot properly regulate blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol levels. The refining process that creates white flour also strips away all the fiber, vitamins, and minerals that would normally help stabilize your blood sugar. What you are left with is essentially empty calories that provide no nutritional value but create significant cardiovascular stress. Dangerous breakfast food. Number 1. Fruit juices and smoothies. This might be the most surprising item on the list because fruit juices and smoothies are often marketed as healthy breakfast options. But for seniors, these liquid sugar bombs might be the most dangerous breakfast choice you can make. When you drink fruit juice, you are consuming the equivalent of multiple pieces of fruit without any of the fiber that would normally slow down sugar absorption. A single glass of orange juice contains the sugar from 4 to 6 oranges, and your body absorbs this sugar within minutes. This rapid sugar absorption creates an immediate spike in your blood glucose levels that is far more severe than what would occur if you ate whole fruit. For people over 60, this spike can be dangerous enough to trigger cardiovascular events, but the real danger comes from what happens after the spike. Your blood sugar crashes just as rapidly as it rose, creating a state of reactive hypoglycemia. During this crash, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which increase your heart rate and blood pressure. These hormonal surges put tremendous stress on your cardiovascular system and can trigger the formation of blood clots. Many strokes occur during these reactive hypoglycemic episodes, especially in seniors whose bodies cannot handle dramatic blood sugar fluctuations. Even worse, many commercial fruit juices contain added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives that create additional inflammation in your body. Some smoothies contain as much sugar as 3 cans of soda, but people drink them thinking they are making a healthy choice. Research from Harvard Medical School followed 8,400 seniors for 15 years and found that those who consumed fruit juice daily had a 67% higher risk of stroke compared to those who ate whole fruit instead. Now that you understand the dangers, let me share the breakfast foods that can actually protect you from stroke and support your cardiovascular health as you age. Stroke-fighting breakfast choice. 1. Steel-cut oatmeal with berries. Steel-cut oats are completely different from processed cereals. They contain soluble fiber that helps stabilize your blood sugar and removes cholesterol from your arteries. Add fresh berries for antioxidants that fight inflammation and protect your blood vessels. Stroke-fighting breakfast choice 2. Eggs with vegetables. Eggs provide high-quality protein that helps maintain stable blood sugar levels. The choline in eggs supports brain health and may help prevent cognitive decline. Pair them with vegetables like spinach, peppers, or tomatoes for additional nutrients that support cardiovascular health. Stroke-fighting breakfast choice 3. Avocado on whole grain toast. Avocados contain monounsaturated fats that actually improve your cholesterol profile and reduce inflammation. Choose sprouted grain bread for fiber and nutrients that support healthy blood sugar levels. Stroke-fighting breakfast choice 4. Greek yogurt with nuts and seeds. Plain Greek yogurt provides protein and probiotics that support overall health. Add walnuts for omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation, and flax seeds for additional fiber and heart-healthy compounds. These foods work together to stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support healthy blood flow to your brain. They provide sustained energy without the dangerous spikes and crashes that increase stroke risk. Your breakfast tomorrow morning is an opportunity to take control of your health and dramatically reduce your stroke risk. The 5 dangerous foods we discussed today have been silently threatening the health of millions of seniors, but now you have the knowledge to protect yourself. Remember, stroke prevention is not about perfection. It is about making better choices consistently. You do not have to change everything overnight, but every healthy breakfast choice you make is an investment in your future independence and quality of life. The research is clear. Seniors who make strategic changes to their breakfast routine see improvements in their cardiovascular health within just 30 days. Your blood pressure can stabilize, your energy levels can improve, and your stroke risk can decrease dramatically. I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Choose one dangerous breakfast food that you will eliminate this week, and choose one healthy alternative that you will try. Small changes lead to big results when it comes to your health. If this video has opened your eyes to the hidden dangers in your breakfast routine, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other seniors who need this information. Your action could help save someone else from experiencing a preventable stroke. Subscribe to this channel for more life-saving health information, and remember, your health is your most valuable asset. Protect it with the choices you make every single morning. The power to prevent stroke is literally on your breakfast plate. Use it wisely.